Hey there, tenors. Welcome back to our Teaching Through Repertoire series on Galactic Adventure. This is part 2 of the series. Part 1, we went through all the new notes, symbols, terminology, dynamic markings, roadmap, anything that might be confusing to you or that you might not have picked up on yet. So if you're missing anything or anything's confusing, make sure you check out part 1. Part 2, we're going to go through the first 12 measures of the piece, so the mysteriously section. We're going to go through that, we're going to clap and count all the rhythms, we're going to say all the note names, and then we're going to play through the part. As with everything, do each section as many times as you need until you're really comfortable with it before you move on. And do this whole video as many times as you need until you move on to the next part of the piece. So let's start. We're gonna clap and say, using our takadimi, all of our rhythms. We're gonna go ahead and start at measure 7. Remember, the first 6 bars are all rests. That's what that 6 there with the big black bar means. It means we're gonna count to 4 6 times. And again, we go over that in the first video. So make sure if you're not sure about that, go back and check that out. So we're gonna start in measure 7. We start with 2 beats of rest, and then we're gonna come in with a ta. Counting and clapping. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest. Ta, 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 di, ta, 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 ta. Rest. Ta, ta. Why did we hold that last note so long? Remember that fermata means we hold it 2 times as long. So hold that out twice as long. Also remember that C sharp is open. Go back, watch that video if you're not sure. All right, let's say our note names this time while we do the fingerings. Let's say our note names while we do the fingerings. Starting in measure 7 again. If you weren't sure about that rhythm, go back, do that again. But if you're ready, let's go on to our note names and our fingerings. 1, 2, 7, and rest. D, D, E, D, C sharp. D, F, A, F. 1, 2, 3. C, C sharp. We should hold that C sharp out forever, but it's hard to hold ARP out for 8 beats. Make sure again, C sharp is open, C is middle finger, C sharp is open. Don't let your finger go flying away. I usually do on these videos so that you see what I'm doing, but you want to keep your hands as close to the keys as possible when you're playing. That whole time, if I was really playing this, you would hardly see my hands move, wouldn't even know what was going on. So keep them as close as possible there. All right, if you feel good about those note names, you got them all down, your fingers are confident and everything's good, let's go ahead and play through this. This time we're gonna start at the beginning, and we're actually gonna play this with our metronome on. Mysteriously, remember, means fairly slow. It's not super slow. It's about 88 beats a minute, we're gonna say. Could be anywhere from that, 92, somewhere in there. There's got to be a big difference from 13, which is vigorously, which means we're going to go pretty quick. So we're going to go slow. We're setting this to 88. We're going to play through this with our metronome on, starting at the beginning so we get practice counting those rests. Beginning. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, ready. End of that fermata, you might have a release, you might have a conductor that stops there, you might have somebody that goes straight on, so just be ready, be watching, and if you're on your own, take a little pause before you go on to measure 13. If you felt really good about that, do it a couple more times, and then you'll be all set. If you didn't feel quite good about that yet, slow it down, use the controls, go through it as slow as you need, but make sure you're good with the rhythm first, and then your notes and fingerings, and then try playing it. Once you're set with that, you're ready to go on to part 3, which will work. We'll start at measure 13 and we'll get into the vigorously section. Remember, when you're practicing, don't practice till you get it right. Practice till you can't get it wrong. Until then, happy noodling.